Hi, my name is Jen Meade. Glad to be back on this stage. I don't know a lot of you guys in the room anymore, but I used to be a site director at Crossroads Westside. Shout out to Westside. Then I was a Crossroads student director here in Oakley, and now I'm actually work out of Mason. So it's cool to be here. Thanks for having me. They asked me, hey, could you speak to our students on this date? And I said, yeah, I'm available on that date. What's the topic? Money. And I'm like, hold up. Do y'all have money? Okay. Because I had a couple students who were like, why are you talking to us about money I don't have? Right? Well, good. Well, we are in the last week of this series where we've been talking about the 7 proven practices that we believe help you to have a stronger life of faith. And so this time, we're talking about living generously. And I always heard generously, and I was like, well, you have to have money to live generously, right? Anybody know, is money just super awkward topic? Because, who knows the cost of your parents' house? Anyone know how much they paid or how much they pay every month for where you live? My dad got a loan, right? But how much was that loan? How much did he put down? Do you know what he pays on taxes every year? That's what I'm asking. We don't know a lot of these things. Do you know what your parents make? Yeah? I never knew that stuff. I did know that I had a cell phone in high school and I had to pay for that. Do you guys know how much your cell phone is every month? Some of you don't. Yeah? Car insurance, if you have a car. Yeah, if you drive a car, you have to have car insurance. That is a thing. It is important. Well, money is a topic that we can worship God with our money. And my heart for you today, my hope for you is that whether you have money now or one day you have plans to have money, you have plans to work, you have plans to have a nice house and a nice life one day that takes money, that maybe you'll hear something today that makes you go, I don't know if I can even apply that today. Maybe I can, or maybe I'll apply that later on in my life, because it's a proven practice of how we can live our lives in ways that reflect who Jesus is. And I also don't know, if you're here for the first time, you're like, I'm here and you're talking about money? What is this place? Well, first off, thanks for being here. And second, whether you believe in Jesus and maybe you went to camp and you're back from camp and you love God and you love Jesus, or you're here and you're like, I don't know what I believe. I came because my friend invited me and there was free food. Either way, we are super glad that you're here. But I haven't always been trusting God with money. And so I want to tell you a little bit of my story. When I go back, I'm one of 6 kids. Anyone have a lot of kids in your family? My mom was a nurse. My dad was a teacher. We weren't rolling in the cash growing up. I actually have this, I have this core memory. I was probably 8. I was probably 8 years old. And I came in the house, I was playing outside, and I remember hearing my mom on the phone, and she was crying. Anyone ever witness your parent crying, and you're like, I probably shouldn't be here. But instead, of course, I went to go listen into the conversation. And I heard my mom crying because she was on the phone talking to my uncle, asking if she could borrow money. And I still remember that a long time later because I didn't want that. And I hurt for my mom. And I knew my parents didn't have a ton of money. And so right away, my mind went into, well, it's up to me then. As soon as I was old enough to get a job, I'm going to get a job. Which, funny enough, there's 6 kids in my family. And this old lady down the street called my mom and was like, hey, I saw you have daughters at home. Would someone come clean my house? I was 13. I was like, I'll do it. I happen to be good at cleaning. So that was my first gig. I got paid. I'd walk down the street or I'd ride my bike. I'd scrub her toilets. And then she'd give me cash so that I could then spend money. And as soon as I was in 8th grade, I got a job the summer out of 8th grade at a pool. Any lifeguards out there? Then I became a lifeguard, and then I was the manager at the pool. But I did the things because I didn't want to be the kid who couldn't afford to do the thing. Because a lot of my friends, that wasn't a problem for them. But for me, it was. My dad had 3 jobs. My mom worked a ton. I have one friend, we went to the mall together. And she was one of those friends, I would go to the mall and my mom would give me $10, right? I'm going to get a soft pretzel and maybe some clearance earrings. Her feet hurt at the mall and she bought new shoes. You can afford to go buy new shoes because your feet hurt? We've been here 10 minutes. But I remember that moment too of being whoa, I'll never have money like that. So actually right now, I have these Birkenstocks on. They're 3 years old. See this crack? There's this crack here. Anyone have $200 so I can go buy a new pair of shoes? You have legit, cash in your pocket. Do you have it? Will you bring it up here? Not Cash App, not Venmo, but I'll put those on the screen. You can Venmo me. I'll take it. If you do, come up here. Do you? For real? All right, come on. Show me. You have $200. Are you single? Two. I'm just saying, ladies. I'm just saying. Okay, wait. So can I have it? Yes. What's your name?
My name is Evan.
So, Evan, you're saying I can just have this money, 20s, and I can keep it and I can buy myself some new shoes? Great, thanks. Why was that so easy for you to just give me your money?
Because you gave me the money. You told me to give it to you.
That's true. All right, thanks. You're good. I gave him the money, and I was at one point, I'm gonna ask who has money, and he gave me the money. Right? Cool. Here was one of the first things I learned, guys. That was easy for him to give me the money because it was never his money to begin with. It was my money the whole time. I got this out of my bank account 4 hours ago, and I gave it to him so he could give it to me. And that was the first shift in my head because I would hold my money tight. I worked hard for my money. And so I'm going to spend it right away on the things that I want, or I'm going to hold on to it so you don't take it from me. So I never have to be the one on the phone like my mom calling and asking for money. And here's the thing that I started to learn with God. God owns everything. You can clap for that. God owns everything. The book of Genesis, the first chapter talks about all the things that God created in the world. And all of the things that we have around us right now were also created by God because they were created from the things that God created, right? And there is a verse in the book of James, James chapter 1, verse 17, and it says this. It says that every good and perfect gift comes from above. Every good and perfect gift comes from above. And so that includes money. The Bible also talks about tithing. I'm not going to jump real big into tithing, but tithing is, we can Google it, it's giving 10% of what the money that you make and giving it back to your local church. And the reason that you do that is so that your church can then go fund areas in the community that need money or need things or need supplies or need food or need shelter or around the world who need different things. And it's taking that 10% and trusting God with it. Because it wasn't yours to begin with, right? If you start thinking about the money that you earn as, well, this is God's money, and he's just asking, okay, I have $200 here. 200 legit bucks. 10% of that is, quick math, everybody. 20. 20 bucks I can give back to God, and the rest of this I can buy my shoes with, right? I can go get it. Guys, I didn't know what a value meal was a kid. You go to Chick-fil-A now, I ordered the number 1 with a Coke. I didn't know what it was because we couldn't afford a value meal. We got one large Coke for all my siblings, and freaking Lisa would spill the Coke almost every time. She'd drop it in the car and get everywhere, and I would be freaking thirsty. Because we had to share. There's nothing wrong with value meals. There's nothing wrong with shoes. But God has something bigger and better for us when we honor him with the things that he's given us. It's an act of faith to do that, right? It's an act of faith for me to be like, cool, I have $200. I'm going to give 20 of it back to God, and I'm just going to trust that it gets used on faith. And so that's my second point today is giving money is an act of faith in God and his promises. It's an act of faith. I mentioned I would hold my money like super tightly. Anyone already know what you want for Christmas? She gets me. Guys, I have a notes section in my phone because when my mom asks, my mom still has any Christmas presents? And when she asks, I'm ready because God forbid she goes on her own and buys me stuff and it's horrible and I can't return it, right? So I've got a list on my phone. But guess what? Let's say December 25th, I get everything that I want. That'd be pretty sweet. Come January 1st, I have a new list. Anyone else? Like you get the thing that you want and then you're like, okay, but now I want more. And now I want that. And then I just went to school and that person had this thing. I want that now too. I want it too. And a part of this act of faith and just giving things back to God is that I'm willing to go, okay, I know that the world around me is going to say, I need it, I need it, I need it. I want it. But I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to go, first, God, I'm going to honor you with the thing that's already yours. And I'm going to trust in your promises that I'll be blessed for that. Well, what does that even mean? There's another verse in the Bible I want to talk about. It is in the book of Matthew, and it's this story of this owner talking to his servant who has done great work. And he says this, he says, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness. He says, I've put you in charge of a little bit, and you've done it really well, so I'm going to give you a lot more. Well, I think of this story of my friend Danielle. A couple weeks, Kirk talked in this series about community. Danielle's definitely a part of my community. I picked her up in my car, which how many people, you drive a car, and you're like, that means it's my gas money, it's your gas money next time. But I picked her up in my car. Guys, my car was filthy. Like, dashboard had, like, dust across the top. I had, like, my volleyball bag in the back, my wet towel from swimming, from lifeguarding, all the things, dirty trash. And she got in the car, and I drove like a beater. Like, it was a junk car. I shared it with my two other siblings because there were 6 of us. And she got in the car, and I remember being like, sorry for the mess. This car's a piece, and when I get a nicer car, I'll treat it better. Oh, by the way, there was a massive bug in all of its guts. Like, it had been in my car, and I'm actually really freakishly good at this. I just like, bam, and killed that bug, and its guts were still there. And so she sits down in my car, and like, that's what she sees. And I was like, sorry, when I get a nicer car, I'll treat it better. And that verse, can I get that verse again? That verse is saying, like, be faithful with the little things. Be faithful with the junk car, and I'll give you better. That sounds silly. Like, does God really care about the car that I'm driving or the things? He actually does. He cares about your heart. And that thing with Danielle said that to me, and I'm like, get out of my car. You're going to tell me. Oh, what happened is she brought this verse up to me. She was like, well, God says I'm not kidding you, this happened. Well, if you're faithful with the little things and you take care of it, like, you'll get a nicer car. And I looked at her and I was like, get out of my car. Drive yourself. No, I'm just kidding. She stayed in the car. But I just kind of tucked that away in my mind to go, it's actually a really good point. And I started taking care of my car. And I started going, okay, I do want God to trust me with more things. And that does mean being faithful with the things that I have now. In that instance, it was my car. But it's all about your heart. It's all about the heart. When we start to believe the things that the Bible says, when you start going and you go, okay, I want to start trusting God. I believe in Jesus. I want to start being faithful to what that could look like. We learn things and then we align our hearts with those things, and our actions start to follow. It's about the heart. What is something that God has trusted you with? Maybe it's money. We're talking about money, right? Maybe it's money. Maybe it's that you work your summer job and you've never even thought about giving money away. Maybe you can start going, well, I could give some of this back to God. Or maybe it's that you have extra time and you could help your neighbor with something that your neighbor needs. Or maybe you have a really good skill and you're like crazy smart at math. And so you can give that back to God by being a tutor. Or maybe you just have extra time, or you notice things at school that you feel like other kids don't notice. Ever happened to you? You like just have a better sense of things and you're like, does no one else notice that? Maybe you notice it, and it's a little thing that you can do, and God just wants to see you be faithful. And he just wants to trust you with the things that he's given you. I don't know what that is for you. But I believe that he gives us an opportunity to say, everything in this world is mine, and I'm giving you these things, these great things. And you have the opportunity to be faithful back. So in just a minute, someone at all of your sites will come up and talk a little bit more about what you can do where you are and at your site to be and live generously. But first, I want to pray for us. God, thanks for giving me the worst topic to talk to students about, money. But God, I just ask that as we in this room start making money, whether we make money now or we make money in the future, or there are little skills that you have given us, Lord, that we can find ways to use those things to glorify you and to worship you. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, thanks for watching. If you like what you heard, we have more content for you on our YouTube channel if you want to subscribe, and make sure to check us out on Instagram for everything that's coming up.